Hello and welcome to my latest video, and once again I'm exploring an old railway line in Shropshire. This time I'm exploring the old Bishop's Castle to Craven Arms railway. My first port of call is going to be making a visit to the railway museum in Bishop's Castle itself. Well, I'm inside the museum now at Bishop's Castle, and there's a whole range of artefacts here, as you'd expect, including this great model of Lyddon Heath station.
And east, complementing volume 21, steam south and west. The contents will include coverage of the wandering 1500 tour in 1963 with six... So why didn't the extension go? It was originally, the line was originally meant to go to Montgomery, wasn't it? It never happened. Right. Yeah. Was it just a money thing, was it?
Yeah. But in 1867, one of the banks failed.
Right.
And of course would be there locked they were with that bank, and also of course 5 bridges over the river, sea crossing and recrossing the river Onny, well that was pretty expensive too. So no, if they had have managed to get that link, who knows. And also there was a railhead at Minsterley already in existence. If they could have linked up with that, and then they could have got some of the stone quarry traffic from that part of the world.
Because the Minsterley line was originally meant to go to Montgomery, and that never went either, did it now?
But, you know, if they had have established that, well, who knows? Because they had great ideas. It was built to accept a double track, you see. And so not only run trains, but to rent the line out. Because it might have sort of avoided going up to Shrewsbury to go back into mid-Wales till they cut across.
Was it built with freight and passengers in mind? It was, yeah.
Yeah, quite often the old mixed trains would run. Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
A couple of carriages, yeah. Pretty rickety because they were all about third hand anyway when they had them. But yeah, they would have, and then some stock wagons as well, you see. So yeah, it was very useful before road transport came into it. But of course, when road transport came in the 20s and 30s, that completely finished it then, you see.
So what was the main phrase? It's dairy, is it farm products, is it?
Yeah, quite a lot of that. Coal, some stone, timber. Plowden was the busiest goods yard because there's vast Plowden estate, much timber on that, which of course in the First World War, vast amount of that was used for not only pit props but trenches, I suppose, you see, in France. So it was the only time they ever got near to paying a dividend, I think, the First World War, yeah.
Well, I've come back from Bishop's Castle back down to Craven Arms because I've decided to do the first part on the Onny Trail, which is the line coming out of Craven Arms on its first path towards Bishop's Castle. And here at Stretford Bridge you can see the start of the line. It would branched out to the left there into that clearing, and Stretford Bridge station or platform was just round the corner. From here I'm now going to go and walk the Onny Trail up towards Horderley. The first port of call though was to see what's left of the Stretford Bridge platform. Well, we've got a sign about the Onny Trail here, a bit covered in nettles, but one point of interest, it does say that there is the site of the Stretford Junction platform. Let's go and see if we can find it. Well, I'm now standing exactly where the line started, and the signal box would have been just behind that bush in the near distance. We've got the Shrewsbury line to my right, and here's the path of the Bishop's Castle line veering to the left. And you can see down back towards the bridge I've just been standing on, and the Bishop's Castle line started here, up along this grass verge, up to where I'm standing, and curving around the corner, and Stretford Bridge halt should be just round the corner. Well, if we look at the plan map in the book, we've got the junction here, and I've just walked down this curve, and it says the platform there, so that must be up where that bank is, and around this area here. This picture in the book shows the once timber platform on that bank on the north side of the track. I've also got a nice picture in the book here of a train just approaching the junction, ready to join the Shrewsbury to Ludlow line. Well, I've walked up a little bit further and you can see the curve of Stretford Bridge in the distance. Now, after that initial start of curves and high banks on both sides, the line narrows out a little bit on its next part up towards Horderley. As we learnt back at the museum, a bill was passed in 1861 to build a railway from Craven Arms all the way to Montgomery. Unfortunately, there were lots of delays and work didn't start till 1864, and it was 1865 before any of the track was opened. Sadly, the intended extension to Montgomery never happened. The official opening of the line was in the 1st of February 1866. And initially there were 4 trains daily each way of mixed freight. Now, with Montgomery being the main destination, the line didn't actually go to Bishop's Castle, it got to Lytham Heath, and then a loop reversed the train back into Bishop's Castle. The idea being, of course, that this would just be a small loop on the main line going to Montgomery, but of course this never happened. So when the line did operate, the trains came up from Craven Arms, went into Lytham Heath and reversed into Bishop's Castle, with the opposite happening on the way back. I've got a picture here from 1932 which shows the typical train on the Bishop's Castle line, a mixture of freight and passenger. Well, just a little bit further west we can see a pathway that's been cut through the stone embankment. This cutting shows some of the vast stonework that was done to build this line and keep it flat and level. Well, coming back quarter mile further, and I seem to have lost the actual pathway. I'm on the old line, but the pathway seems to have veered away. Well, with a bit of further investigation I can see why I came to an abrupt halt, because we've actually got a bridge here, well, a former bridge, which crosses over a small stream and a pretty rough track. A track which I don't really think you'll get much of a vehicle up, apart from a farm vehicle or a 4x4. Now, it's all fenced off here, so I'm not quite sure I'll get back on the trail. This is already turning into a bit of a trip of discovery, because we've got another little bridge here that was once here, and you can see the elaborate stonework which has been put in here to bridge over what is a small stream. Now it's dried up a little bit, and we've not had a particularly dry spell, so it's not much of a stream, but enough for them to bridge over. Well, lots of sheep ahead and a few more obstacles. I'm not totally convinced that the Onny Trail goes all the way on this old line. I've seen several people walking down by that line of trees. Maybe they know better than I, but I'd rather be on the track bed than near the track bed. Now, these sheep look as if they want feeding, but I've got nothing for them. Well, I survived the sheep that you can see down there in the distance, and as I've come a little bit further westwards, we can see another bridge that used to span the line. Well, apart from the fact that the span is missing at the top, the stonework is actually in pretty good condition. It's hard to believe that this has not been used as a railway since the 1930s. And if we look at the top, we've still got some of the stonework and brickwork for the passing cars and passengers, and no doubt cattle and sheep as well. Now, after that area of fields, the line has narrowed out a bit now as we head through the trees of the woods. Well, I've come about another half a mile and it's a lot more overgrown now. Well, we've reached the biggest landmark on the whole of the line. This is the one and only remaining viaduct over this line. Thank goodness this one has survived. Well, there's no doubt that it's still in pretty good condition. Better than I was expecting. Well, this is the bridge from the top, and as you can see, it's still a usable track. As we get nearer to Horderley, you can see now that we're following the river very closely. Well, I have to say I've lost my bearings a little bit because it's not clear. I was on the track through the woods, but I don't think it went right up there. I think the line is more likely to have gone across that field.